welcome to a special edition of the Pylon Podcast. I know we're talking a little bit of football. It's the off season right now, but the grind never stops for certain people. So, Sheldon Day joining our podcast today, man. Thank you so much for taking time to do it. We appreciate it.
I appreciate the invite, man. Looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to start off by talking about Darnell for a second because he's kind of the reason why we got connected a little bit. He's a super good dude.
Yeah.
And I always see you guys posting about the Players Company. I think it's super important, athletes to kind of at a younger age start to understand, things about building wealth and just preparing for the future. And you being a young guy who, you're kind of one of the, front people for this. Kind of talk a little bit about that and what you guys' goals are with it.
For sure. So I learned early on that this football stuff is not for long. So how do we create generational wealth with the money that we obtain in this short playing career? It's hard for us. Most people don't understand it, and we usually get taken advantage of because we don't have the time to understand it. So how do we create a team of individuals or a platform in which that can propel us to actually excel off our sport, our playing field, things like that? So the Players Company essentially is an ability to come together as a conglomerate and make money together so that we can walk away from our sport knowing that, hey, we made a lot of money on our sport, but that money's not going to dry up because we invested it the right way. We put it in vehicles that could help it grow and grow at a good rate, essentially.
Who were some of the people that were kind of in your corner that pushed you in that direction? Because everybody obviously doesn't always have that.
Yeah, for sure. So I learned from one of the best, Richard Sherman, also a chairman of the Players Company, just his mindset when it came to business. He was one of the first people to start teaching me about equity. So everybody always wants cash now, but that cash can be fluctuated based off of inflation and things like that. So equity is something that you can take and it only can grow if that company is successful. So he took equity in Body Armor and things like that and made crazy money. And that's just off his name and image. So just imagine you don't have to put up the capital. Now you're using your name and image to get equity. And now you have a good chance to make a lot of money. So he was the first person to teach me about equity and then equity-backed deals, things like that. Then he started teaching me about VC, private equity, real estate. So he just opened my mind to all our alternative investments to really start to understand, hey, this football money's cool, but it's so much more money outside that we really don't have to work for. And because of our likeness and what we've done on the field, we can now get opportunities and access to certain things.
Definitely. Amelia?
Yeah, I was looking at your page and everything. I saw you had that relationship with Sherman. I'm assuming you guys met while you were at the Niners. Yeah. And I was just curious, when did the idea for the Players Company start to really manifest in you guys' relationship?
Man, I want to say we kind of played with the idea in 2018. But 2019 we were making our Super Bowl run and he's over here talking about these equity deals and then going and play and balling out on Sundays. And I'm just like, how are you doing this? How are you being able to play at the highest level of your career, but then Tuesday through Friday, you're over here talking about, oh, I'm trying to get in this business. Nike needs to do this and just really growing his real estate portfolio. So just putting my ear to the ground and let me be a fly on the wall in some conversations. And then he's introducing me to individuals. And then I'm opening up my Notre Dame connection and things like that. So really starting to play on network effects and things like that. He really opened my mind to all of that probably in 2019. We started to kind of ramp up if I'm thinking like this and I'm going to my fourth year in the NFL and I'm thinking about getting that second contract, and if it doesn't happen, what am I going to do? Now it's that those times are starting to come and be real life and things happen really fast. So now how do I prepare for life after football? How do I prepare for tomorrow? So then that started to pick up even more. And I know I wasn't the only person thinking like this. So how do I bring everybody in and at least give them opportunities to succeed? Let's stop relying specifically on our sport and really start relying on our network effects, who we are as human beings, who we are as people to really grow and be better and change the world.
Wow. That's powerful stuff. That's crazy. Yeah. It's actually funny. Go ahead, Amelia. Did you have another question?
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it was just funny because kind of circling back to Darnell for a second, I always knew him just from being on TV. So I reached out to him maybe about 3 years ago. Yeah. We connected. And then when I was in LA about a year ago, we actually went to dinner together and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's when he opened up my mind to a lot of things that were on the business side of things. Because he told me he actually studied business when he was in school.
Yeah.
But I never actually realized that about him because I always knew him from TV to talking sports. But I just think when you kind of, dive in the layers that you guys have to offer, it's really interesting stuff because like I said, I go on the Players Company website every once in a while and just check and see, what athletes are on there, things like businesses. It's super good stuff I think you guys are doing. It's great.
We definitely appreciate it. We also lead with financial literacy. Like,
Yeah.
how do you make an educated decision if you don't know what's really out there? So we try to teach them and do webinars and things like that. Bring in a business professional talk. Like, hey, I'm interested in real estate. Well, what's step one of real estate? How do you create a business? How do you create LLC, S corp? What's the difference? Things like that. So I feel like I didn't learn that in school, and I went to Notre Dame. So that's kind of prestigious. So it's like, okay, if I didn't learn it, you probably didn't learn it. So how do we create a trusted platform or a safe space to where you can ask those questions? Well, hey, I don't even know what an LLC is. What does it do? What's the benefits? What's the difference between that and an S corp? Little things like that, and then you break it all the way down to, oh, my financial advisor put me in Apple. Why did he do that? And now you're getting a true knowledge, and because you're invested in it, it's your personal growth that you actually care about. So really trying to change the mindset when it comes to that.
That's great.
I just wanted to ask you real quick, kind of on the topic of that. NIL has kind of been one of these things that's taken the world of sports by, storm the last couple of years. I wanted to know if there was any kind of, or how you think that affects the landscape with everything that you're trying to do as well.
Yeah, so I think it's needed earlier. So me coming up, you couldn't make money in college. Like you struggled in college. So only thing you got, the football, when I was coming up, they could give you 1 meal a day. Now they can feed you all day, give you snacks, all that stuff. So it's just crazy how it just changed in the little bit of time I've been gone. But the NIL big world is just crazy. You get high school kids making $500,000. I couldn't imagine me at 17. Like, I'm doing anything and everything with $500,000. So now you have to teach them earlier. You got to teach them, oh, what is credit? What is this? What is that? What is this? Oh, you got 500,000. You should put that in savings, or you should do this. You should start teaching them about the 60-20-20 rule. Just little things like that. But obviously, they think it's going to continue to come. Oh, I'm going to be a star high school player. I'm going to be a star college player. I'm going to go to the pros. But that's that 1%. So now you got to start preparing for that 1%. And now you have to start preparing for even earlier and earlier. So now you got to tell a middle school kid about financial literacy when they didn't start teaching us about financial literacy until I got to the league. So now it's a big range to where it's like, okay, you're making $500,000 at 16, 17. What does that look like? Can that project you to get some real estate? And now you have residual income coming in, and you're in college, and now you grow your portfolio. Or can you grow this and now you can help your family out? You can create a family business. Little things like that, to where it now starts earlier. And I think that's the scary part. Most people are just letting it be the wild, wild west. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see if they put some regulations on it, or they require schools to start doing financial literacy to help these kids out.
Do you think it's different? And I know, like, you being a football player, like sometimes like their careers are a little bit shorter than like NBA guys. Do you think it's different depending on like which sports you play?
I think so, because NBA contracts are guaranteed.
Right.
They are more, I don't know if careless is the right word, but they know that their money's coming. So with a football player, we can get cut tomorrow and our money's dried up, gone. And I think that's why we have a higher rate of financial distress. Our spending habits tend to stop, or like they don't stop. So that's why we start to, okay, if I'm spending $10,000 a month and then I get cut tomorrow, well, I still have those $10,000 of expenses. But an NBA player, they can get cut, traded, whatever, and that money's still going to come for the next year or whatever their guaranteed contract is. So I think it's a little different for their mindset, and they don't really feel financial distress until they're removed from their sport 3 or 4 years, where we feel it the next day or in a month or things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also looking at your website and I saw you do a camp, Sheldon's Daylight Camp. And I think like the overall theme that we're getting out of all these, different ventures you're going to is like paying it forward is very important. And I just wanted to know, like, what does that mean to you, to just like to pay it forward to like the younger crowd and helping them develop too?
Yeah, so this is my passion right here. I was helped when I was younger. So why not give it back to the next generation? I had a high school coach that poured everything he had into me, and what I learned from him at such an early age is still into me, or it has been instilled in me, and I still use it to this day. So if I can give back to somebody in the 4th and 6th grade, to where I feel like that's the real true factor. It's like, okay, when I was in the 4th grade, I wanted to be an astronaut. And then when I got to 6th grade, I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. So I think that's the time where you can really imagine and you have dreams. So how can I help you achieve those dreams and aspire to be more than your circumstance? So I really hosted on the east side of Indianapolis, where I'm from. It's a impoverished community. It's a food desert. So how do I grow this community and show that it's more than just the east side of Indianapolis? You can go to Oregon. You can go to Alaska. You can go to Spain. You can go to Portugal. You can go to all these different countries. the east side of Indianapolis isn't your bubble, you can burst that bubble and go be so much more. So take the kids to the University of Notre Dame, show them college is obtainable. I teach them STEM, and then we do athletics camp on that Saturday to really let them have fun and be kids. I know it's a dangerous time. People are dying left and right. So how do you have a safe environment where kids can just be kids and just enjoy the little things in life and be around NFL players and just have fun?
Man, I'm sure they'll never forget that. That's super. That's nice you guys do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I wanted to flip to a couple football questions for you real quick. So like, how have you had to kind of, adjust your game over the last couple of years now that the NFL is such a pass heavy league? Like, what are some like the little techniques you do? I know you said before you got on here, you were working out, like have you had to switch your body, like the way you eat, just little stuff?
Yeah, so I had a great mentor my second year in the league, being Calais Campbell. He taught me a lot of great gyms. He's going into his 16th year this year. So just listening to him and really trying to model my game after people who are like me. And one person that told me it was my first year in the league, it's training camp. A guy walked up to me and told me that they brought you here for a reason. Be you. And that stuck with me ever since. His name's Telvin Smith, one of the best linebackers at Jacksonville, Florida State. And he told me, he said, I'm a small linebacker, but I'm going to be me. And that stuck with me. So, like, ever since then, it's like, okay, what do I do well? What don't I do well? Can I work on that to where it's not a C, it's a B minus now, or it's a B plus? And I really try to work on that every day. But don't forget that you are here for a reason. Like, you're quick, you're explosive, things like that. So I'm always working on those. But how can I prove the weaknesses of my game to continue to excel and do things like that?
Nice.
Okay, now here's another question, football related.
Okay.
If you could sack any quarterback currently, just you get a free sack, is there anyone particularly you want to take down?
Man, I would say Lamar or Kyler, because they're
all that speed,
man, just slippery. And if you get them down free and easy, it's just like you can't pass those up. But he's always trying to pick people. I played him in 2019, and he shook one of my teammates so bad, like it's crazy. I remember it just like boom, and you just see him reaching for air. It's like crazy. Just like if you can get one of them down, it's gonna be special for sure. So one of those two.
Looking at the NFC North going into next season, obviously we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is doing next. Yeah. And Emilio, you being a Vikings fan, you can attest to this, the success they had this season. And you look at the Lions, they were a lot better than people thought. And then Chicago, Justin Fields, I mean, he surprised some people, but Chicago kind of turned out how we thought they were going to be. Like, what are you looking to add to the Vikings this upcoming season to kind of, build on the success they had last year?
For sure. I know we have a lot of free agents. So really trying to sign those guys back to really keep the nucleus together. I know that's a really big that everybody talks about is like, how do you create a standard, keep the standard, and then excel the standard? So keeping that nucleus together because the standard is now established, and now you start to add pieces around to create that dominant culture that you're trying to establish. So I know we have the running back room is going to look different. Outside linebacker room might look different. Safety room safeties and DBs. So it's just a lot of positions that will look different. It's just how do we continue to keep that nucleus and that standard together? Because with the NFL, everybody knows you're a completely different team the next year. So how do you continue to grow, grind, and keep the momentum from winning the NFC North to now going, okay, let's make a deep run in the playoff. All right, let's go achieve that Super Bowl dream. And really just it starts in OTAs and things like that. You start gelling together as a team. Then you start to build camaraderie within your position groups. Then in training camp, you take that momentum and you start riding the wave. So,
yeah, and one of the things you kept saying there was like setting the standard. And I've been a Vikings fan for like 15 years almost now, and I loved Coach Zimmer prior to the new coach and everything, but they definitely did need a culture switch. And I just wanted to know or get some insight, like Coach O'Connell, is there anything you could speak? Obviously there's things you can't say, but anything you could say to him just as a Vikings fan that speaks to his character?
A fierce individual, but he gives off like such calm, cool, and collected. He reminds me a lot of Kyle Shanahan, like just calm, cool, and collected, but he knows that he can score at any time. He knows that he knows how to lead a team and things like that. So it's pretty cool to see his demeanor. Just when we played the Colts and we're down 33, I think, something crazy, and just calm, cool, collected. No yelling, like staying consistent, keeping it. So I think he does a great job of keeping the faith. Meaning, like, no matter the situation, no matter what's going on, it's always the faith. All right, we'll pull through this. We just need one stop. All right, we need this. just the next up. And I think that's crazy because he was a player. I think he has the ability to transition that to coaching. And you don't see a lot of players transition to coaching well because you get the emotions involved and things like that. But I think he's a good job of tempering his emotions.
Real quick,
I'll go ahead, Amelia.
I'm sorry, I can't leave. Real quick, I gotta tell him the story how I'm massive Vikings fan. My roommate, massive Colts fan. So that was a great day for me. That was a great day for me.
I already know.
Because early on, he was chirping and chirping, and
I already know.
I think I turned away from that game too. I was like, this is over. And then I think I got the update on my phone. I was like, there's no way this just happened. I was like, that is nuts. Holy hell, it's crazy. Yeah. Who are you looking forward to playing an entire season with most? Like, which team are you looking forward to working with?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I really hope
it could be offense or defense.
Yeah, I really hope we sign Dalvin Tomlinson back. Great dude in the locker room, leader, things like that. So we've known about each other, but we never got the opportunity to play with each other. So it'd be cool to watch him grow throughout the year. We pick up on each other's techniques and things like that, helping each other become better. So I think it'd be really cool to have a full season with Dalvin for sure.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, really good dude too.
Amelia, you got anything else?
One more Vikings thing.
Okay.
I saw on your Twitter too that you had an interview and the person was asking you some of your funnier teammates and everything. I wanted to know because I watch all the Vikings behind the scenes stuff, and everyone is always talking about how this dude Chris Boyd is like this clown and how he can never take any, or no one can take him seriously. And I see you laughing now. Is there any? Would he join in that list too?
For sure. So Chris, I don't even know what the game is called where you got to like go away from the hand and like you do the head.
Yeah.
We call it the head game. He's so funny. Like he'll call anybody out and he'll be like, come give me that face. And like they're like, what are you talking about? So like when people come over there and they go battle back and forth, and I swear he's undefeated. Nobody's ever beaten him, and he's just talking so much trash. Like, man, get away from me! Like you can't even blah blah blah. So he's hilarious, man. But good player, great dude in the locker room, and just like he's gonna tell you like you go walk up to him like he like give me that face and just beat you 3-0 real quick. So it's hilarious.
Man, Sheldon, to close off the podcast, where can people find you on social media, and where can people find more information about the Players Company?
Oh, for sure. So follow us at the Players Company on social media, and then you can find me at Sheldon Day _91 on social media on all platforms. And man, it's gonna be some exciting stuff that we got coming up, especially on the Players Company side. And I'm really looking forward to the offerings that we're about to offer for sure.
Yeah, when you guys blow up, man, make sure you remember us, because if we blow this podcast up, we got to do it together and kind of recap, like, where we go in a couple of years, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Anytime, man, anytime.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, we appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody. Sheldon Day joining our podcast today, the Pylon Podcast. We'll be back with some more stuff later on in the season, so thank you, Sheldon, for joining. We'll catch you guys next time.